AEW. Let's talk about it. Pat yourself on the back. You got up. You've been wearing the same socks for the last 3 days. Pat yourself on the back. Pat yourself on the back. If you're going to celebrate Thanksgiving, whether it's by yourself, whether it's with family, pat yourself on the back. Let's get straight to it. AEW. AEW. This ain't a Full Gear review because I did not get a chance to watch Full Gear, but I know it happened. I will get to it eventually. I ain't going to do a review, but I will get to watching Full Gear eventually. But I want to defend AEW, but at the same time critique AEW. I'm Bill Alfonso. And if you don't get that reference is, Bill Alfonso used to say, I could call it right down the middle, daddy. Even though he didn't, But that was one of his slogans, calling it right down the middle. That's why I always say I'm Bill Alfonso with this shit. I'm on nobody's side. I am just as much of a WWE fan, just as much as I am an AEW fan. So I have two point of views. I have two perspectives of things. So I see both sides of the coin. I know how WWE operates, and I know how AEW operates, right? At least I got used to the way AEW operates. I'm going to just say this, okay? Damn if you do, damn if you don't. And what I mean is, I said in the video before, wrestling fans are the most impatient, two-faced, fickle fans in any form of entertainment, of any form of sport, of any form that has fans in it, right? We are the most impatient people. We want things right away. We want instant gratification. And we all are bookers in our minds, right? It's fun. But I bring that up because AEW had a Full Gear pay-per-view, and you got people complaining about the blood usage, the violence, the carniness, the depravity, right? The degradingness of AEW. We did just have blood and guts on national television. It was some of the most violent shit I've seen ever, definitely on free TV. Did you see Darby go through them flaming tables like that? Crazy shit. And yes, AEW has a signature. They have times where they, go the fuck off the limb. Where they're just doing the most wildest XPW shit on a mainstream level. This is where I defend them at, though. Damn if you do, damn if you don't. Are we forgetting that AEW is trying to be the alternative? You may not like the choices that the alternative is making. And I'm going to get on that. I'm going to critique that, yes, because I told you. I'm calling it down the middle. I'm on nobody's side here. But if they were doing what WWE was doing, you would call that out. Oh, they're too much like the WWE. Why they're not being the alternative? Now they're being the alternative. Now it's too much. How many times we had to go through this with AEW? It has been years now where AEW push the boundaries, push the limits of violence. And you know what I do? I salute them for that. I don't know what y'all been told, but listen, I grew up in the ruthless aggression era. That's my era of professional wrestling. That made me a long life fan, right? Of wrestling in general. And I remember the PG era coming in, but I grew up in the ruthless aggression era, okay? No, it was nowhere near this violent and bloody. So I'm not comparing it to. But I'm saying the Ruthless Aggression era had a sense of danger, a sense of unpredictability, vileness, depravity, degrading, degeneracy, violence, and blood. WWE back in the day, and they're coming back into it now because WWE right now is PG-13. In the last about 2 years, WWE has been a little bit more violent, a little bit more blood friendly, which is smart. Make the blood rare, make the violence a little rare. It means more. I get that part. But AEW, they are basically if ECW and TNA and WCW had a child, and throw a little XPW, CZW there too, because they do have a lot of indie-rific type of influence in the AEW realm. But again, we are forgetting they're trying to be the alternatives, people. They're trying to be different. They're taking advantage of the TV 14 rating. Their demographic is a older fan base, teenager and up. I say 15 and up, who they're aiming towards. So this goes back to me being growing up in the Ruthless Aggression era. That era was aimed at that same level of demographic, a little older, because the villains back then, Edge in his prime, Randy in his prime, were fucking disgusting villains, and I love it because I used to hate these guys, right? That's what AEW gives me, that feeling again. That's why, as a half sicko and a half WWE fan, I'm a hybrid, right? But I enjoy AEW because it brings me back to those times. Dangerous, except AEW is a lot more fucking dangerous than WWE was. Goodness grief. But I don't mind it. I'm glad we have something else to watch. I can't believe some of the comments that I've seen online. People wanted AEW to fail. They should be kicked off of the air. They should be canceled and blah. I'm just like, bro, y'all the same people that was probably watching in 2019 because you was mad at the WWE. You were tired of the WWE. You had WWE fatigue. So you really, really think about that. You really want AEW to go out of business? Some of y'all actually do, because some of y'all are just WWE fans. Shouts out to y'all. I ain't knocking you. This ain't none of that. I'm a fan of both. Even though WWE's been very disappointing to me this year, but I'm always gonna be a fan. It's never gonna go away, no matter how bad the product is. It's gonna keep calling me, man. So it's not just be calling me. It's Pookie. I'm Pookie when WWE comes around, when wrestling comes around. It keep calling me. Just keep calling me, man. But that's where I defend AEW on, okay? I don't mind the violence because it's something different from WWE, bro. WWE rarely dives into that because, like I said, they PG-13. They're starting to curse a little more. You know, it's a little more, it's getting there. They're slow burning it because they got to. Thanks to Chris Shitty why the WWE even had to go through all this. But thank goodness we have an AEW, man. And this is all for the fans that watch both. You probably gonna understand what I'm saying more. You might feel me more. Thank goodness we have an AEW around. Something different. The characters, the match types, the feuds, the stories are totally different. Why would you want them to be the WWE? This is what people was mad at the WCW for around their bad years. They just tried to be WWE. This is why people was like, oh, yeah, this shit's getting whacked. They're trying to be the WWE. So why would you want that to repeat itself? Now, let's get on the critique part though. Okay? Told you. On nobody's side here. Nobody's side. AEW, the numbers aren't lying to you. The numbers are in. I've been saying it. And I got a video probably months ago, probably a year ago, I don't know, where I said I gave up on AEW. Not giving up on the fact, not giving up on it that I'm done watching. That's what that video wasn't about. Go check it out. It was really about me saying, and I still feel this way because they're still showing it. I gave up on the idea of AEW being mainstream, going mainstream. Because the route they're taking is never going to be mainstream. And like I said in that video, go check it out. It's called I Gave Up on AEW. Or I think it's Why I Gave Up on AEW. Because I don't think they want to. And that's a problem. Yeah, you got a billionaire funding all this. So, I mean, that's the only thing that's keeping them afloat because you got a fucking billionaire. He can find a channel. A lot of people think he's not going to get back on the WB, Warner Brothers and all that. He probably can because he got the money, man. Like, money talks, people. You ever seen that movie? It's a great movie. Chris Tucker, he's on there. Charlie Sheen, it's a great movie. Funny movie, too. But money really talks, bro. He's a billionaire. I wouldn't be surprised he stays on the network. He's got money. And I think, this isn't me giving excuses, but I really think in today's time, I don't think ratings is what we think it is today. I don't know all the answers, but just think about it. Look at the ratings that WWE's been doing on Netflix. Worldwide, like Titus O'Neil. It's not impressive when this is the WWE. On a worldwide network where the numbers don't all estimate up until a week later. So you got literally an entire week to watch Raw. Millions, hundreds of millions of people are subscribed to Netflix. You have all this time to watch Monday Night Raw, and they haven't even barely hit 3 million in a while. 3 million is worldwide. This ain't comparing. I'm just saying I don't think ratings is what we think it is anymore. But that don't mean the numbers aren't lying for AEW. 400K? That's fucking bad. We was getting 800K at one point in time, yo. 400,000 people? You barely is getting 20,000 people to come watch. 400K? 500K is regular? It's time to change something, AEW. I enjoy the violence and the mud show shit when it makes sense. Because, yes, they wait till their pay-per-views to turn up, but they do got their times where they go crazy, the blood and guts. And then, their pay-per-views, they always got at least those maybe 1 or 2 matches, maybe 3, maybe even 4 sometimes, where they're really just going off. And yes, you can get fatigued from it. You can get desensitized to the blood. Whereas it's normal, where it's like, oh, okay, he's got a weed whacker. And you would think, like, what the fuck? He's got a weed whacker. No, we just seen niggas get hit with blow torches and shit, flamethrowers. Darby's about to throw a Molotov cocktail. They might use it one day. I mean, are we going to forget about the shit with Jon Moxley and Edge? He literally got stabbed in the back with the Janus bat that Edge stole from Abyss. Yeah, that's still one of the wildest shit I've ever seen on television. I can get people's fatigue. I do get it. AEW needs to spread out their violent shit a little more. If you're going to have a violent match, it should just be one that makes the most sense. Okay, Joe and Heyman, that is a blood feud. Because when a steel cage is involved, that means blood has to basically be involved, right? That's why I think War Games should have blood in it this year. It doesn't make sense to have all these weapons and ain't not one nigga trickling blood from an eyelid and nothing. It's kind of ridiculous. That should have blood. It makes sense for that to have blood. It's War Games, right? It's War Games. But anyway, AEW does rely a lot on gimmick type matches. And they do that even when it's not a deep feud sometimes. They just do it because, and I respect it. I respect it. Like Birdman, I respect it. But at the same time, you got to spread that shit out, man. And AEW has to stop catering to a certain audience. I, just like a lot of other fans of AEW that do critique it, I want AEW to be successful as WWE, successful as WCW was, successful as TNA was even in the 2010s, early 2010s. They was getting 2 million views. Yeah. They was getting views. They was going against Monday Night Raw. They had the balls to do that. Failed miserably, but still, they were still getting good views. Think about this. AEW's never even reached 2 million views. Y'all never went past your first rating. It's been 6 years. That should tell you something, man. Something's got to give. Something has to change. But go check out my video, why I gave up on AEW. I don't think AEW cares. So I look at it, if they like it, I love it. What can you do? We can critique, we can get our pitchforks, we can get our torches, we get our shovels, we can rally all we want, but bro, if they don't want to change nothing, they're not going to change anything. And they got a billionaire funding this. So just think if Paul Heyman had Vince McMahon, which he was funding the ECW, but just think if Vince McMahon was literally like funding the ECW, where they're paying for all their production and everything, their talent, everything, like he did the WWE. Just say WWE wasn't around and it was just ECW, and you could play with Vince McMahon's money. That's basically what AEW is. If ECW had a billionaire to back it up, ain't no telling how crazy ECW would have got. With Paul Heyman's psychotic mind, there's no telling how wild ECW would have got. But see, AEW's mixed with a little XPW and CZW as well. But AEW, man, I love it. Yeah. And I love it. No. But something's got you got to spread out things. You got to make things make more sense. It has to make sense why to use this type of level of violence sometimes. Even though I enjoy it. But you gotta have a balance. But we'll just have to wait and see how this goes. So what do y'all think of this? Like I said, I support AEW on this decisions and the certain things they do, but I'm going to critique it too because I want it to get better. I do think it should have a balance, but I do like that element of surprise, that level of danger, unpredictability. This is why I feel like the characters are more badass. The characters are more hardcore. They feel a little bit more realistic. They don't feel so puppeteer. But that don't mean AEW shouldn't change some of their routes, some of their pathways. But what do y'all think of this, man? Like, share, subscribe, dislike, all the good shit. We are out.